Chapter 22. Ida enlists help. Ida squatted in the alley next to the ghostly white boy. Robert, that's your name, isn't it? Yeah, I told you it was. He frowned and gripped the dog tighter like he knew what she was going to say. How about if I said I'll help you find your mum if you get me into Netterfield Grange? You must be ruddy joking. He pushed himself up against the wall. Come on, Frank, we're going. Robert rubbed his arms. He only had a thin little jersey on. The little dog, Frank, trotted behind him to the end of the alley. I don't want to go anywhere near that place ever again, declared Robert. He checked both ways along the West Street and turned towards the station, the Lily, and the orphanage. Ida followed him. You're going the wrong way, she called. Well, I'll take my chances. Really? When you don't even know which way to go? That way you'll walk straight past the orphanage gates. They'll be looking out for you. Robert stopped. He didn't look quite so ghostly in full daylight, though it was a miserable, freezing cold grey day. I know people at the council who can find out where your mother is. I have connections, and that's what you need. You got out of that horrible place, so that means you're the best person to help me get in. Please. Frank the dog looked up at Robert, waiting for his next doggy instruction. Did she let you have a dog in there because you were her favourite? No, of course not. You only just found me, and we've sort of got joined up. Kindred spirits, said Ida. What? He screwed up his face as if she'd switched from Chinese to English. Ida was thinking of a book she'd tried to read, all about an orphan girl who talked a lot about friends being kindred spirits. Underneath its coating of grime, the little dog would have been almost entirely white too. Please, Robert, you'll help those other kids too. You'll be a hero. I don't think they wants helping. I told you. At last, Robert stepped back into the cut to Dahlia Road. Can you really find out where my mum is? Ida crossed her fingers behind her back. Yes, she said. She watched the little white boy's shoulders rise and slump with a sigh. She recognised the feeling of having to admit you needed help. We'll be helping each other, she said, and put the problem of saying sorry to the girls on one side. Bonnie was top priority now. Ida had to apply herself. Well, Robert turned round, it'll have to be tomorrow morning. That's when they brings the laundry in the van. It's how I got out, so it's how you'll get in. Right, Ida said, deflated. The church clock said not long after 2 o'clock. Tomorrow morning was practically a whole day away. Bonnie might have gone already. Ida resisted the urge to run up there right now and bang on the gates again, because she knew where that had got her the last time. She didn't think Jin would be along in a hurry again, not after how she talked to Brian. No, this time she had to be more organised, and Robert was going to help. She knew that woman was up to something. She'd felt it when she'd sat in her car in the garage. If only she could be as sure that Uncle Arthur wasn't. Mrs. Allenby's window at number 9 Camellia Lane twinkled already for Christmas. Even this early in the afternoon, even Mrs. Allenby's window at number 9 Camellia Lane twinkled already for Christmas, even this early in the afternoon. Everyone thought she put up decorations much too early. By comparison, number 7 was as dark and cold as the orphanage. Ida tried the front door handle, but it was locked, so she took Robert round the alley to their backyard. The smell of baking, cakes and scones and bread seeped through the cracks. I ain't half hungry, said Robert. Frank, the little dog, trotted obediently at his heels. Hoping it would put him off the scent of food, Ida said, I've got plenty of coal in the bunker, so we'll have a nice fire. Mrs. Allenby's kettle was whistling as Ida opened the back door and shunted Robert inside. He went straight for the kitchen cabinet. Got anything to eat in here? On tiptoes, he opened the cupboard that Brian had tried earlier. Didn't have no breakfast or dinner, and soon it'll be tea time. He sat down on Ida's chair and flumped across the table, moaning. Frank put his paw on Robert's knee, begging to be let up. The larder was practically empty too, of anything that anyone could eat anyway. It was freezing cold and she'd finished the milk days ago, but when Ida lifted the lid off the cheese dish, there was a lump that didn't smell too bad. She put it on the kitchen table and scraped off the mould with one of Mum's best bone-handled knives that the bailiffs had left behind. "Is that all you got?" Robert picked a chunk off the table and fed it to Frank, now sitting on his lap. "Here, have all of it." Ida pushed the whole scraped lump of cheese over to Robert. She took off Miss Lovelock's mum's shawl and put that round his shoulders too. "I'll make up the fire," she said, and put the last bits of kindling wood and paper in the range. She picked up the coal scuttle and went out to the yard. Ida was still wearing her school mac, but it was like a cotton summer dress against the cold. A wind whipped up and whirled round the yard. She pulled up her collar before she bent down to open the bunker door. With the shovel, she felt around for the little mound of coal Uncle Arthur said he'd left earlier, but she couldn't feel anything. Robert appeared at the back door. "I need the lav!" He was holding his bottom and jiggling on the spot. "Don't lock yourself in, it sticks." At that moment, Ida's world was as cold and black as her empty bunker. Deep down, she knew that she wasn't going to find any coal. Uncle Arthur had lied. What else had he lied about? But if she didn't have Uncle Arthur on her side, what would she be left with? A gang of thieving girls and this little white boy and his little white dog. That was what.